Alrighty, time for yet another gear review. Thanks for coming back to the channel. This time we're going to kind of revisit a video that I did 7 years ago. This is my 2001 Gibson SG Classic. Now, this has been by far and away my most popular video. I think close to 150,000 views, if not a little bit more or less. And this is the very same guitar I did on that video. But I wanted to revisit it because I did that video using a little kind of cheapo webcam, and the audio wasn't great. You know, it was when YouTube was really getting off the ground as far as, people were starting to do reviews and all that stuff, and I didn't have the equipment at the time, and I just started doing these reviews. And like I said, I got so many hits on this one, I wanted to finally revisit this one. And yes, I still own it. It's still probably my favorite guitar. But I wanted to address some of the questions and stuff I've had about this particular instrument over the years, and some of the questions people have said. Now, you can see it's still stock. If you watch that other video, you saw me complaining about the tuners. Well, it turns out the tuners were fine. I just needed a good setup. I had recently moved from Florida to Texas at that time, and my guitar was just acclimating. All my instruments went through this acclimation process. They were accustomed to the extreme humidity in Florida, and then when they came over here to at that time the drier air of Texas, they all just got knocked out of whack. So I had to go get them all set up, and it turns out that fixed the problem. So the SG Classic 2001. Now, this guitar is loosely based on I think the late 60s, 70s SG Specials. And the SG Special was a more stripped down version of a SG Standard. Came with P90 pickups, just dot inlays, and it looked very similar to this. The only main difference between this and those early SG Specials is that one had a wrap tail bridge. Now, very famously, Pete Townsend played that guitar, which is what turned me on to this particular instrument, because at the time when I bought it, and I believe I bought it in 2002, but I know it's a 2001, I was heavily going through a Who phase, which I still love, one of all-time great bands, and Pete Townsend is just insane awesome. And at the time, I was just going through a Who obsession, and I started looking, I think it was on Musician's Friend and some other websites. I was just looking at this guitar and falling in love with it. I wound up at a Guitar Center one day to buy strings, and she was just sitting on the wall. And I was like, ooh, let me play that. And the guy plugged me into a vintage Vox AC30 amp, and I hit an E chord, and that was it. It was done. I bought it. Went in for strings and wound up with a $1,000 guitar. I'm sure that's a story many of us can tell. So let's talk about a little bit about this guitar. Like I said, this guitar has P90 pickups, Gibson P90 pickups. Everything in this is stock. It's one of the few guitars that I have not modded. It's just perfect right out of the box. All it needed was a good setup. It's got a beautiful setup. Since that video, I've done close to probably about 250, 300 shows on this guitar, so it's got some wear and tear, but it's still kicking. I've had a little, fret leveling and dressing and stuff done on it, as you do after a couple years of wear. But that's it. Still stock. P90 pickups in between a single coil and a humbucker. They are a single coil pickup, but they're definitely a single coil on steroids. They're their own monster. Either you love them or you hate them. I just happen to love them. I actually own 3 guitars with P90s. I just love them. They're just my favorite pickup. When I started playing, this was the first one I ever bought with a P90. When I started playing this guitar, it was like, that's the magic. That was the tone I was looking for my whole life. So let me dispel some of the questions and rumors that people have about SGs. Most SGs, but not all, come with slim taper necks. However, not all, like I said. A lot of people have seen my last video and I talk about the chunky neck. And they're like, well, no, it's a 60s neck. It's a slim profile neck. Well, not true. And if you do a little research on your own, you'll see that I am telling the truth. The 61 SG reissue, or the 61 SG, has definitely a slim profile neck. Most SG standards has a 60s slim profile neck. And furthermore, the specials did. But Gibson does release, the occasional SG, in certain runs. They'll make a certain batch of them, usually a smaller batch, that have a bigger profile neck. Now, I'd say this one is kind of in between. It's kind of a 59 kind of neck. It's definitely not slim taper. I played some of those SGs that are a lot thinner. And it's definitely not a full 50s baseball bat neck. So it's kind of like a 59 profile. And it's beautiful. It's my favorite profile neck that Gibson makes is the 59 profile. It's that in between. It just feels most comfortable to my hands. I love them. I don't like the slimmer profile necks. I have not huge hands, but I have a little bit, bigger hands. So I like the bigger necks. They feel more comfortable to me. This one, I would say it has medium or jumbo frets, medium jumbo frets. As I said, it's got a stop tailpiece. It does, and tune-o-matic bridge, volume, tone, three-way switch, Kluson Perloid, or Kluson button tuners, style tuners. And it's just an SG. Now, the main difference between this guitar and the current kind of they have an SG P90 now, the SG Standard P90, which essentially is this guitar except has the block inlays, so it's like an SG Standard, but with P90s. I don't think they make this particular model anymore, which is a shame because I love it. This is my favorite. I just love everything about this guitar. And a little bit more about the P90s. I'm going to do some demonstrations on this. A lot of people have asked me, can you play metal on this guitar? Now, personally, I think that's a silly question. I think you can play metal on any guitar. I think you can play any kind of music on any guitar if you have the right equipment. But the answer to that particular question is yes, you can. But because they're P90s, they're single coiled, so they hum. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to crank my amp here a little bit. I'm going to let you hear what that sounds like. So now you can see, if you're going to play metal, you're going to probably want some kind of noise gate on here to kind of quiet down those pickups. But the tone is outstanding. So, excuse me, I'm not a metal player, so that's my attempt at metal. Just kind of getting harder rock. Now, I keep it more to kind of a classic rock kind of tone. So, to answer that question is, most definitely you can play metal with this guitar. The other question, which I might dispel in another video sometime soon, is people have commented that it sounds just like a Strat. The P90s sound like Strat pickups. Couldn't be farther from the truth. The P90 is definitely way hotter, more mid-range punch than a typical Strat pickup. So, if you like this video and you comment, maybe I'll do a comparison video. So please let me know in the comments below if you'd like to see that video, like a comparison video between a regular single coil in a Strat or like a Tele and P90 single coil, so you can hear kind of the difference. I would love to do that video for you guys. So, maybe I'll do that soon. So those are some of the rumors. Now I'm going to just go through it here now in my settings, let you hear a little bit more of this guitar and hear how it can clean up beautifully just by using the volume knob. Here's my tone fully cranked. You can see I've got quite a bit of gain on there. But if I dial it back, I'm on the bridge pickup, dial back the volume. Now, without even touching my volume knob, if I just attack it a little harder, That's the beautiful thing about a P90 pickup, is it's really articulate and responds to your picking attack a lot. So you don't have to have a jillion pedals if you don't want it. Now, I'm literally just my guitar plugged into an amp. I have 0 pedals on the floor, and that's it. So now let's hear the middle position here. Now I'm gonna play fully cranked, and then and then show you the picking attack again. I'm gonna start cranking. Now just play lightly. So again, you can see the beauty of a P90 pickup is it's really articulate in response to your picking attack. Okay, here's the neck pickup by itself, same thing. And I'll play soft. And that's all without touching my volume. Now if I dial the volume back here, you can get a really kind of a beautiful, like, bluesy tone. You know, and it's still got a little gain there because I'm attacking it harder. But if I bring that volume down just a little bit more, I can get it to clean up really. So you can get a lot of tones out of this single guitar with just your amp and the guitar and your fingers and the way you attack them. That's the beauty of P90 pickups, is they're like magic to me. Some people don't love them. Some people hate them. Some people prefer the EMGs, or they prefer just straight humbuckers, which I love. You know, I love humbuckers. I love single coils. I just love guitars. And I love them all for different reasons, you know. But for me, in my personal playing style, the P90s are where it's at. So I hope I've answered some of your questions there about the SG Classic and just an SG in general. I hope you dig what you're seeing. If you like it, please press like and hit subscribe if you don't subscribe already. You know, I'd love to have you come back and check out the videos. I got a couple more videos planned here in the next, hopefully in the next couple weeks. Some good things. So please hit subscribe. Come on back. Thanks for watching.